when we channel our energy the right way, we can make big things happen like tonight.
Three-pointer, pitch, Devin Booker on fire. Crowder looking, throws it, alley-oop. Oh! He puts it down! He puts it down!
And I'm just so happy for all the people around me. You know what I mean? And to do it here in L.A. with the Clippers, this is my family too.
We didn't want to do a Game 7. We want to do it here tonight.
Chris Paul is in the NBA Finals. What do you think when you hear that sentence?
Man, it sounds damn good. Damn good. It's been a lot of work, man.
Hello and welcome everybody into another edition of the Solar Panel. I am your host, Greg Esposito, and whether you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, basically anywhere you can watch it live, or if you're listening to us on demand on the podcast, we appreciate you, the Flaming Ballers, more than you know. Ahoy, hoy. We got one heck of a big show, but I can't start this without introducing the man, the myth, the legend. He's the Silver Fox, and we call him that because his beard and his hair are as shiny as that Western Conference Championship trophy. It's
Woo!
Dave King. How are you, Dave?
Hey, I like that. Let's go.
And as always, the Carmel Thunder from down under. It is one Saul Bookman. Saul, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful weekend.
Look, I wish we had time for the usual, joking around and making fun of you too, but we just don't. We've got a jam-packed show, and joining us right off the top is one of my favorite guys over at the Phoenix Suns. It's Langston Galloway. Langston, thank you so much for taking a few minutes and joining us on the show.
No, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it being on, and hey, let's get into some conversation.
Yeah, look, first time, two-time player guest here on the show, so you're making history. But speaking of making history, on the other night when you guys clinched the Western Conference, what did it feel like for you? What was that feeling to know that you were on your way to the NBA Finals and 4 wins away from the Larry O'Brien Trophy?
No, it felt great. I think that, if you really look at our whole playoff run, there's been a multiple amount of guys that have stepped up and really closed our series. And just to see us close it out the way we did and get a chance to see CP, just do what he does. And he really just put the team on his back and really just went about it in a way that, no other can do it. And I was, thoroughly impressed just to be there, be a part of something so special. And, hey, we're on a magical run, that's for sure. This thing has been a lot of fun. And, hey, we just, everybody knows that we're celebrating, but at the same time, too, it's like, hey, look, we got 4 more to go. That's the ultimate goal is, getting this championship, bringing this the first championship to Phoenix, and that'd be history right there, history in itself.
Tell us a little bit about CP. He just had such a tough time getting COVID at the beginning of the Western Conference Finals. Then he comes back in, and for some reason he's hitting only 30% of his shots. And going into Game 6, what were you thinking? How was the mood in the locker room? What was the thinking around whether CP could break out of that, or if the other guys just needed to pick him up and carry him? And what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, going into Game 3, him coming back, people don't realize how hard it is, playing basketball, and all of a sudden it's ripped away from you. You can't play basketball for, he was out for 10 days.
Yeah. And
then coming back and then playing in one of the most high pressure games in the history of, his career. How hard that is, just to stop and then all of a sudden, hey, let me pick it back up and say, let's get back going. So, a lot of kudos to him, his mental space, his preparation, because it's tough. It's tough to go through something like that, not knowing, hey, when he will be back or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, they throw him back in there. He's back starting. You got to get it back going. Got to get all the rust off. And, the first couple of, the Game 3 and 4, you can tell the rust was still there. Conditioning wasn't there. Game 5, you can see his rhythm was starting to come back a little bit. He started knocking out his midi a little bit more. And then Game 6, that was a culmination of everything. Just all right, I'm back. Let me close this thing out. Let me finish it the way I want to finish it. And hey, that's a storybook ending. I really can't speak much more. But his whole playoff run, this this season has been a storybook ending, and hey, I don't see why not. Hey, let's go win a championship and really finish it out the right way.
Langston, I'm sure that you would like to see the court a little bit more, in the playoffs. But in the meantime, how are you keeping yourself prepared for if your moment does come? Because obviously we know in the playoffs anything can happen, and with the rash of injuries from coast to coast, it seems like anybody can get their moment. How are you staying mentally prepared and locked in for if your number is called?
Yeah. I mean, anybody in my position would want to be out there playing, just showcasing themselves for, be a free this summer, like being able to showcase myself going forward. Whatever happens, happens. But in all responsibility, all professionalism, like I think that from my standpoint, I look at it as an opportunity. Like every single day is another opportunity for me to get better. I take practice now. It's like that's my game time. Like we come in, we get a chance to play. That's my game time. Or I'm working on specific skills. Like right now, like just picking and choosing things that I've been stealing from CP, book, campaign. I mean, guys that are all on my team. I just steal bits and pieces from their game and work on it when we're playing against each other or playing in situational games. So that's my biggest thing and how I take each and every day now, and knowing and keep myself prepared and mentally locked in, knowing that, hey, my time can come, or, if it doesn't come, hey, I know I've prepared myself mentally and physically, and, hey, going into the off season, hey, I know I've set myself up going forward.
Your shoe game is one of the best in the league. I mean, obviously, you're going to be playing on the biggest stage coming up. Do you have anything special ready for the finals?
I got something really special. So please be prepared for what I have on my feet. Some of you guys might not know what it is, but be prepared. I'll definitely have something special for sure.
Are they going to be gold-plated Nikes or what? What's going on here? What's going on?
Hey, look, that's all. Only hint I can give you. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's all. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be filming practice or anything like that, but I have more in practice, and then specifically, hey, when it's game time and everything like that. So yeah, be prepared.
Back to the future self-lacing shoes. That's my guess. We'll see.
Hey, take us inside the locker room when you guys clinched it on Wednesday night. We saw some of the clips. We saw some of the film of everybody dancing around the trophy and all that. Is there anything that people haven't seen that could be shared on a PG-rated show?
No, not really. I mean, it was just funny. Like when we first got in there, everybody was like, "Where's the champagne?" And then everybody was like, "Man, we only use the champagne for the championship, man. Like it's water right now." So that was the funny thing. Like we walked in, that was the first thing that everybody kind of said and mentioned. But we're just really excited. Like I think that we've had a day off, and like we're ready to get back to work today, and just get this thing started. Like we will be tuned in tonight, see if Milwaukee finishes out, and then we're just ready to get back on the court and keep this thing going.
In your career, I'm sure you've had big wins before, and there's something to be said about enjoying the moment as much as possible while you're in it. And I know Monty is one of those coaches that enjoys the moment, but the next day he's ready to move on to get to the ultimate goal, which is the NBA Finals. When you're sitting there in that moment, what are you thinking as it's happening? Are you relishing it, or are you already thinking about the next step?
No. You have to relish every single moment, because you know that you might not ever come down this road again. Like, for example, like this is CP's first time getting to the championship in 16 years. So like, a 16-year career, and this is your first time getting to the championship. So, I mean, that's amazing just to get there. Like there's tons of players that have said they've gotten there and never won. So we're so excited to get here. But at the same time, too, we're just so excited to enjoy this moment and then build on, like, hey, all right, let's enjoy it and let's move forward and then start preparing for whoever we had to play in the championship.
And then just to kind of follow up on that, I know there's been a lot of talk about Devin Booker, right? I like to say that he's like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption, where he had to crawl through 500 yards of shit just to come out clean on the other side. Like, that's what it is, right? He went through 5 years of some awful, awful seasons here in the Valley, and now in his first playoff, it's okay. Bring the kid in. It's all good. He was here last. He was here last time. Remember that? Right? He was here last time. It's all good. Yeah. You know, in his first playoff appearance, how impressed have you been with him? And how he has reacted in his first moment to really shine on a national stage at this level.
No, he's done a great job. I think from a standpoint of our whole team, I think everybody's been waiting for this moment. And, you know, I know everybody says, hey, our nucleus is young and, hey, maybe we'll get opportunity to get to this point, you know, later in, you know, the run as a unit. But I think our whole mindset is, hey, why not us? I mean, you know, you've seen it on CP's shoot, like, why not us? Like, you know, just why not me? It's like everybody has that mindset. Everybody has that kind of built-in factor. It's like we've gotten to this point because of every single player on our roster has been excited to make this playoff run, but everybody on our roster wants to win a championship. And I think that, you know, for D Book, like, I think that that's his mindset. Like, hey, look, if I can get to this point in my career, win a championship, like, this would legitimize my career thus far. Like, you know, so many people have written him off, like, hey, look, you just out here scoring points. You're not out here trying to win games, this and that and the third. And, hey, he go out here and win a championship. He's going to shut all the haters and doubters up.
Well,
so obviously, oh, sorry, Espo, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, so obviously you had the 40-point triple-double by Devin Booker in game one, and then you had the incredible 41-point game by Chris Paul in game six. But you guys aren't there without that Valley oop in game two, and you guys played those two games without Chris Paul and found a way to win both. What is there anything we haven't heard about or anything you want to share about the design of that play and how the end of that game and just how that all came about?
You talking about how the play was drawn up, or you just saying in general?
Or just overall? Just, you know, you had a 10-point lead with a couple minutes left, and they somehow found a way to take a lead, and you guys had to have that incredible play just to win it. What was that like on the sideline?
Basically, how every coach in the world has that in their bag, and it never works. But this time, it worked. Yeah. Why?
No, I mean, first and foremost, I just think mentally, physically, I just think it's our time. That's what I think it's our time. It's with all the guys that are on this roster, like it's our time. Like, this is our moment, and we're just living in it right now. And then for that situation and the whole game two was a different game just because you had a lot of different guys step up. Campaign had a phenomenal game. You had Mikael, Jay, like all those guys like stepping up game two, like having big moments, like different stops. And I think that towards the end, we needed to stop. Didn't get the stop. Had a turnover, and then we're like, all right, we're down 3 at this point. Well, we're thinking we're down 3, and then PG goes up there and misses both of the free throws. Like, we're just like, wow, like this must be meant to be or something. Like, we just were just shocked, and then just to see that situation like happen. Like I said, I just think it's just meant to be. Like, right now with everything that's going on, I think it's just meant to be for the Phoenix Suns to get a championship this year. That's how I feel.
I'm sure there was moments in the season where you're like, man, we're pretty good. We could do some things. But was that the moment where you were like, you know, maybe you guys were in the locker room like, hey, like what?
Like first and foremost, like going into the series, knowing we weren't going to have CP, like that was like, all right, okay, we got to figure this out. But knowing, like, I don't think anybody said, hey, look, we can win the first 2 games without CP. Like that definitely wasn't on the radar. And then for that to happen, I think it woke up a lot of people like, okay, all right, this Phoenix Suns team, they got something special going on over here. And you know, like I said, I'm just excited to be a part of something special and just be right there for every single moment.
One of the things that has been special about this run has been the fans. They've gotten a lot of national attention, but as a player, what has that support meant? What they've been able to do and giving you guys a home court advantage really meant for the team?
Oh, it's meant a lot. I think we were one of the first teams to get most of our fans back. And from the jump, from when they said, hey, look, the ticket office is open and the fans can come back in the arena, like they've been there since day one. And they've had a charge and they've been excited for every single game. And it's really made a difference. Like you can see teams come in the arena and like they have trouble hearing, they have trouble executing plays, and it's amazing to see. The Phoenix Suns fan base is amazing, and I'm really excited to, see everything that they've been doing for us. Like showing up at the airport, it's 12 o'clock at night, and we got 20,000 fans out there, like waiting for us, like when we get back home, and like that's huge. That's huge. That goes a long way. And then the support on the road, like you got fans out here fighting Suns in 4. Like this is crazy. Like this is crazy. Like this truly is like an amazing just run. And I couldn't be more excited for the Suns organization, and then also too for these fans. Like they're due a championship, and hey, I feel like we're gonna bring them one. We're gonna bring them a championship.
Well, look, as one of those fans, I got to tell you, this city loves this team and has for years, but you guys have done something and continue to do something that's truly special, and we do appreciate it. You make the city proud, and thank you for all the efforts that you guys have put forth this year. It's been something to remember, especially coming off of what we all experienced as people in 2020.
Yep.
Wow. He is Langston Galloway. We really do appreciate him taking a few minutes for us here on the show. I know you got to get ready.
4 more wins.
4 more wins, man. We appreciate it. And if you, I won't say, when you guys hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy, we'd love to have you back on and talk about all that, Langston.
Are you going to salsa dance with Jay Crowder when at the final?
Hey, I'm going to be doing a lot more than salsa dancing when that happens. That's for sure. We'll be celebrating. That's for sure.
He is Langston Galloway. Langston, thanks so much, man. Good luck at practice today, and have a great 4th of July weekend.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Langston.
I always love talking with Langston. He's such a good guy, and really obviously is enjoying this run, cherishing it. And I love to hear him say something special's going on here. They feel it, they know it, and it's not just from the outsider's perspective that it looks that way. They are very aware of the unique opportunity in front of them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, like for a guy that hasn't seen a lot of court time here in the playoffs, for him to soak in the moment, be a part of this team, those guys on the bench that might not get as much run as they would like are equally as important to the success of this team, just for their support. Those are the guys that are there 24/7 on the road, on the airplane, behind the scenes, in the locker room, and veterans like him encourage and keep the momentum going privately. And so their contributions to this team cannot be overlooked.
Hey, my favorite Langston move was helping get Mikal Bridges off the ground after he had a diving layup, and Mikal had fallen under the stanchion, and Langston Galloway ran down the sideline, helped him up, and threw him back out onto the court to run down in transition. That's great.
But that's what this team's about. It's all about just, lifting the next guy up and doing everything that they need to. Great teammates. Well, look, I told you this was a busy show, and I'm not lying to you because we don't have any more time to chit chat because we've got another friend of the program joining us. Bobby Marks from ESPN is here on the show. Bobby, thanks for taking some time out. Espo, Dave, and Saul here with you. We've had you on before. You were one of the few that nationally, I think, saw the potential in this team. You're definitely one of the few at ESPN that picked them to beat the Lakers. I assume you're not surprised by what the Suns have been able to do this playoffs?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I've been saying it all along that this team reminded me a lot of that New Jersey team that we had in 01-02. The similarities were there where, we had gotten Jason Kidd in the trade from the Suns at the time, and our roster was young. We had Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, Kerry Kittles, guys that really never tasted playoff experience before. And it wasn't concerning for me that if Phoenix lost a home game in the early rounds to go on the road and try to steal a win here, because when you go out and get a guy like Chris Paul, kind of the quarterback of your roster, he brings a kind of a sense of stability with everything. And you got a great coach in Monty. And I just thought that, during the year, I thought that this team was probably in that 5 to 6 range, right? When we started this journey here. And then when they started to reel off games and they were not losing consecutive games, right? They never really went on a stretch where they lost 4 in a row or 5 in a row here. And it put them in a position to get in that 2 seed, and they were fighting for 1, that they could do something here. Especially how the West was shaken out here, the Murray injury in Denver. And when you get the Lakers in round 1, I just thought everybody bought into the mystique of the Lakers, LeBron, him never losing in a first round. And everyone kind of bypassed as far as from a talent standpoint, right? Like when you match both rosters up, and I'm sure the Laker fans are probably saying, well, Anthony Davis never gets hurt, we're going to win that series. I don't think so. I really don't, So I've thought that this team has had a chance to get to an NBA Finals probably since probably right around the All-Star break. I thought they, if you put them against Utah in a conference finals, they would have been the better team here. And now as you guys said, you're 4 ways away from winning it all, which is crazy because I remember talking with you guys 2 years ago, and it was like the same time of the year because I was in Connecticut for ESPN, and I was sitting in the hotel at the DoubleTree, and we're doing this, right? And I'm like trying to think, like, man, how can I bring hope to these guys? Like, how can I,
we were trying to think the same.
How can I bring hope? Cap space. Oh, cap space sounds good, right? I think that was the year that you signed. I think that was the year you signed Ricky to that deal, right? The draft,
the Suns were 19-63.
It was before the Cam. It was before the trade with Indiana. With that they got crucified on with
crucified.
My man, cash considerations, baby.
We're 11 for
cash,
and then TJ and they picked Cam at 11, and everyone had Cam in the 20s and the mocks, right? And they're like, oh my God, what are they doing? Then, as you mentioned, like TJ for cash considerations, and we're thinking like, goodness, I don't know how much better this is going to get here. How do I instill hope? And as you see, like, it's funny. I just did a segment on SportsCenter about 30 minutes ago, and they asked me, like, are they the blueprint for teams, how to build rosters? And I said, yeah, in a perfect world, that's the blueprint, right? Like you draft and develop 4 guys, you hire the right leadership positions with Monty and James, you do the Chris Paul trade, and then you get Cam and Torrey Craig in free agency, or actually Torrey in a trade, Cam and Jay Crowder in free agency. Yeah, that's perfect, right? Like if all the other 29, like sign me up, right? Like let's do it all.
Yeah.
But like as I said, like that started in 2015. Like you have how many front offices have patience to go through a 6 or 7 year process? And I think what happened was when you hired James, when James took over for Ryan, and you hired Monty, like it was like a clean slate, right? Like they were going to see it their way as far as how do you build? You already have some foundation pieces with Booker, Bridges, and Ayton. All right, how do we see it our way? You can't just keep on drafting and developing, right? Like we never see that an organically team built that way. Like you got to go out and take a high risk trade with Chris there. Go out and get some veteran free agents, and I guess they're the perfect blueprint, man. But you guys know it took 11 years to do this, where nobody has the patience at all to do it.
Yeah, no, I was trying to do a comparison the other day, and I'm thinking, what could a team use the Suns blueprint? And I'm thinking, well, you've got the Sacramento Kings. They're on a 15-year playoff streak. All they got to do is they got to find an executive of the year among recently retired players. They got to find a coach of the year among a coach who was fired 5 years ago and hasn't had a job again as a head coach. You got to nail every single transaction, and you have to hope your big three that you already have, which would be probably De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley, and Tyrese Halliburton, turn into irreplaceable core of a finals team. If all that goes well and you nail every single transaction, the Kings could be just like the Suns.
So I think probably the closest, guys, probably the closest is Atlanta, right? I mean, I guess probably when you look at it big picture wise, Atlanta is probably the closest blueprint to what Phoenix is. When you look at their draft and develop guys, Trae Young, John Collins, Kevin Huerter, those are your core guys. And then you look at what they were able to do. Capella is not Chris Paul, but gets them in a trade. And then they have the opportunity to add those veterans with Gallinari, Bogdanovic, kind of there, certainly what Nate's been able to do, Travis Schlenk, their GM. That's probably as close as a team as far as that blueprint. But it took them, they were in the lottery 3 or 4 years here. It wasn't like they just flipped the switch. And fortunately, they probably caught a couple breaks and they made a coaching change in midseason. But Orlando, Sacramento, Minnesota, you're just kind of look at those teams would love to be where Phoenix is, but those teams are taking them 15, 16 years and they still kind of can't get out of their way.
With the matchup with the Hawks and the Bucks, just from the finals perspective, I'm not going to put you on the spot and say, who do you think you'd like to see? But I will ask you, what do you think would make for the best series between the Hawks and the Suns or the Bucks and the Suns?
I think Milwaukee would. I think if Trae is healthy, and that's a big if, I think Atlanta's foot speed probably concerns me a little bit because I think he saw a little bit of a dose of that in the Clipper series. I said this after I did Phoenix radio after they lost Game 5. And I felt that when the Clippers got off to that 20-5 start, and I felt like that with them going small, it felt like the Clippers were on a power play, right? Like they felt like they had an extra guy out there where they were just whipping the ball around. And I thought Phoenix's foot speed was a little bit behind. So that would be concerning with me, certainly with Trae, as far as keeping up with him. And then you have the shooters. You just surround with shooters. I think with Milwaukee, it's like, all right, we're going traditional big versus traditional big. Right, we're going to go Ayton, Lopez down low. It's going to be like the old days here. And I think what's interesting is that the Bucks kind of found a little bit of a formula in Game 5 where they basically took Brook off the perimeter and put him down low. So Ayton wouldn't probably have to chase him. But does that change if Giannis is back? And now you need some spacing here. So I would think for me, if I was Phoenix, probably Milwaukee. I would probably want to face them more than maybe Atlanta, but I already set my pick in either team. I put Phoenix in 5, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
There so, but yeah, I mean, home court matters. I think, especially when we get to this round. I think winning on the road, they've proven they can do that here. But probably from a matchup standpoint, I know the Giannis factor, but who knows where he is health wise, right? I mean, that's a knee is a knee. Sprained ankle is a little bit different here. Middleton certainly has played well, and then you've got your reserves with Portis. Certainly what PJ's been able to do. But I think if I'm Phoenix, probably if you had to ask me, I'd probably say Milwaukee.
Yeah, we talked about some of the luck that goes into putting together a roster, but there's been a lot of talk about the Suns. If they win this, there needs to be an asterisk on this championship because of injuries. And, the Lakers were without AD and Jamal Murray was out and Kawhi. in the end, Bobby, does it matter? I mean, to Suns fans, we're sitting here going, everybody has some semblance of luck, but in the long run, does it matter? Will this be a championship? Whoever wins it with an asterisk by it?
No way. Why is it Phoenix's fault that you've been relatively healthy? I mean, besides certainly Chris with the shoulder and and then catching COVID, why is it? It's not your fault. You guys are healthy. Yeah. Like as I said all along, like the goal is to get to the finish line in one piece. Now the finish line is an NBA Finals, certainly. Like, and teams haven't been able to do that. Brooklyn, the Harden and Kyrie. I'm not putting an asterisk because probably on paper they're probably more talented, right, than maybe Phoenix. Maybe that would be a great series, but they're not healthy. LeBron, AD, they're not healthy. You go down the list of Kawhi. Kawhi's not healthy. That's nobody's fault here. We see injuries every year. This year is just probably magnified more because there's more all-stars and certainly the shortened season. We're talking about that more as far as how we squeeze in all these games, but you beat two LA teams and a pretty good Denver team, and do so closing out on the road. I mean, close out
in all three. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how hard those are? Those are ridiculously hard because the mentality is usually like, hey, we got home court to rely on, right? We'll just go back and win game 7 at home, right? And then you get yourself in that position. But there's no asterisk for me. Definitely not. And I don't think there should be. I mean, we can go back. If we want to do that, we can go back to every year. We can go back. We go back last year, the bubble, right? Put the asterisk next to the Lakers. We'll go back to, certainly with KD and Clay getting hurt, we can do that. Like, Toronto earned that series back in 2019. So definitely no asterisk for me.
Do you think it's odd that the teams that really occurred these injuries are the teams that have basically, practiced the mantra of load management, right? For the most part. Do you think there's anything there? And the other question to kind of back that up is, do you think players are not, I guess, prone to playing with certain injuries and fighting through them, rather just opting out to get completely 100% healthy? Is there a mindset change there?
Well, I think with, certainly with Brooklyn, because they're kind of in the forefront with load management, like I think those guys were legitimately hurt, right? Like Harden was with the hamstring at the end of the year, was legitimately hurt. And they tried to, take as much time as possible. What gets, interesting is that he goes through that Boston series and is healthy, right? And then you get game 1 and he automatically pulls that, or I guess strain that hamstring here. So I think everything is just situational as far as what happens. Kyrie sprains his ankle because he lands on Giannis's foot. I mean, it just sometimes happens. Same with Kawhi. We could go in and do an in-depth study if playing the shortened season has impacted as far as from a muscle standpoint, from a fatigue standpoint here. But it is interesting that a lot of the teams, the LAs, certainly the Lakers, Clippers, Brooklyn, teams that are not playing right now, are teams that really focused on load management just because their ultimate goal was, as I said, to get to the finish line in one piece. So losing a regular season game did not mean much. Getting the 2 seed instead of the number 1 seed for Brooklyn did not mean much here. Their ultimate goal was to get to a finals.
There's one big difference, Bobby, between your Nets from those 2 finals appearances that you compare this Suns team to, and this Suns team here, is that there's no peak Lakers and no peak Spurs to have to try to beat in the finals. I mean, you guys made it all the way through the East, and with great story, great team building, and all that, and then you had to hit the buzzsaw in the finals. This Suns team doesn't have that. I mean, Milwaukee's really good. Atlanta's really plucky, just like the Suns are plucky. But I feel like you said, no matter who it is, the Suns would actually be favored in the finals. And that it's just incredible that the Suns are in this position and they took advantage when, if we had watched another team getting here to this point, why didn't the Suns take these chances? Why didn't the Suns, take advantage of this window? Well, they are. And that's what makes it fun. Thank you so much for coming on, Bobby. I appreciate you being our guy for years. I feel like you're our guy.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for I appreciate you. You know, even though you guys are tasting that success, you still think of me to come on. And this thing is not a 1 year. You know, this is not a 1 year thing here, guys. Like, you enjoy it this year, go out and win a championship, but you've got the core in place, right? Like, your core. You know, Chris, we know what the player option, but your core guys, and certainly I think Chris will be back. I mean, you could do it again next year, and you could do it again the following year. Like, this is not, we say roster, you know, sustainable roster. You have a sustainable roster to continue this, to keep on building, right? It's just going to cost you a little bit more.
A lot more.
Don't tease us with a good time.
Bobby, we'll always have you as part of the show because you answer our phone calls, so your text. So that's the important part. Well, Bobby, I just want to know one last question. Can we make Suns and 5 shirts with your face on it? Since you're
whatever you want. Well, shoot, I was the only one who picked. I think I was the only one who picked Suns against the Lakers, so I definitely deserve a key to the city, at least, or a free meal.
I know, you got to be part of the parade. You're going to be in the parade.
I don't think my ugly mug would be a hot seller compared to Suns and 4 or Suns and 5.
Did you see the guy? I mean, you're better looking.
We're going to have you on the float, and DeAndre Ayton will hoist you like a trophy.
I don't have a tank top on right now. I got a regular polo shirt.
Oh, don't worry. Photoshop works really well.
Well, Bobby, we really appreciate you. Make sure to check Bobby Marks out, all his great work at ESPN, whether he's on SportsCenter, writing, tweeting, whatever it is. He does a great job out of it, and we always appreciate you coming on, Bobby. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Bobby.
Bobby Marks from ESPN, and I love talking to that guy. Very nice to have it in more of a positive. We're not talking cap space in July. We're talking potential rings and trophies. Hey, guess what? We can't stop and talk because we got.
Wait! Before you get to that, you know what we got to do it to my man here. I just want to remind everybody what happened back in the draft when we were talking about Chris Paul and we brought my man Corey Williams on.
I don't like Chris Paul on the Suns, man. I just
don't.
No, I don't.
Say why.
Oh, Corey.
Man.
Say why. Tell us why.
Chris is washed, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
He was an all-star, all-NBA last year.
No.
He carried
Corey,
that.
We had to remove my man from
right out.
We had to remove him out. No, Corey. No.
You're looking at Ayton, what he needs. Devin Booker getting some relief off the ball. I think he'll be great to give them a steady hand out front. So those frantic possessions where the Suns were missing opportunities, Chris Paul will clean all that up. Defensively, he's okay. I like what he did this year in the bubble. I watched him, and he laid in the weeds until the 4th quarter, and then he just flipped the switch. He doesn't guard anybody because he can't get in foul trouble, and he saves his little bit of juice for the 4th quarter, and he does close people out. There's a handful of guys whose reputation is bigger than their game right now, and that applies to the NFL too, but we're not talking the NFL. But their reputation walks in the door, and their game is what their game is. Chris isn't all the way washed. I'll take that back because I see the look on Saul's face right now. He's not washed, but he's near the tub with the soap in the water.
Do you know who you're?
Yep, that happened. That happened. And
I can't say anything because I had my own epic.
Yeah, you had your own moment, and we've already rehashed that several times. So I just, Corey, just so you know, we have roasted Espo very much about the same thing. But we wanted to bring you on just to kind of maybe give you a chance to recant a little bit, if you will. Corey,
he's
you there?
Speechless.
Hey, Corey, you got no words? Or?
You know what? I can't believe that was, but it was. Yeah, you bring up. No, I mean, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you.
Corey, we're having some audio difficulties with your stream right now.
Not Chris.
All right.
Not wrong.
Okay.
Oh no!
We have to remove him from the stream.
Oh no! He's trying to take his mea culpa. And we can't.
I don't know that. Maybe it wasn't a mea culpa. Maybe that's why he's acting as if it's broken up because he's unwilling to do that mea culpa because Well, he's got some investments in bathtubs. He doesn't want to badmouth that. Like that was one of my favorite quotes we've ever had on the show. And even though it proved to be the worst we've ever had on the show, the one, close to the bathtub, 1 foot in, got the soap ready. It was fantastic and made even better because it couldn't have been more wrong about Chris Paul. He is about as far from washed as a guy at 36 years of age can be.
I mean, to be fair to Corey, and I'm not, trust me, listen, everybody calm down before you start throwing your hate vibes my way. To be fair to Corey, you were talking about a 35, 36-year-old point guard coming to the end of his career, right? We all figure maybe he's got 4 to 5 years left at the most, right? And you just didn't think maybe you would get this level of production the same way you got in OKC. Even though it was a year removed, you got a longer season coming your way. You got a lot of things kind of, trying to figure out. And I mean, talk about somebody that completely proved everybody wrong, or right, depending on what side of the fence you were on. And I know all of us, at least all of us on this panel, as soon as he said that, we were like, what? No.
Yeah.
Because we figured at the very least he was going to be a step up from Rookie Rubio. He was going to help this team. And he did say he was going to help clean up all the BS, the wasted possessions. And that's exactly what Chris Paul has done. So to his credit, he did say that. But I wish so much that
I would have come back on Corey and said, look, man, you can talk about soap in the water, but when CP scores 41 in the closeout game of the Western Conference Finals, you're going to be feeling bad about this.
We're going to give Corey one more chance to see if he can figure this stream. Corey, is your sound good now or what?
Man, I'm up here in Phoenix. I can't get a signal, but I think I got it squared away right now.
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay, so your response. Go ahead.
Here's the deal. I can't knock Chris Paul because I thought about it and I said, you know what? It wasn't Golden State's fault when he got hurt and they were able to get past the Rockets. And it's not Chris Paul's fault that the Western Conference has seen the injuries that they've seen. And I thought back to my own personal career, and the whole thing that you want is you just got to be ready when it's your opportunity. Guy played 16 years in the league. He had horrible luck on numerous occasions with injuries. I think I honestly held that against him. But lo and behold, the pendulum swings the other way. Other guys are injured. And now Chris Paul finds himself in the NBA Finals, a very winnable NBA Finals. And I got to say, it's literally karma. Now, the way guys guard now versus, 15, 20 years ago, I think the NBA would have done away with a LeBron, would have done away with a Chris Paul in a more physical league. But the fact that he can manipulate and dictate the game from the high post screen, it's insane. I almost want to yell at my screen. These kids don't know how to defend the ball screen. There's no reason someone his age should be dropping 41 points in an NBA game, but yet and still he does it. And I got to give him a ton of credit. I mean, he makes it happen. So
Corey, are you draining the tub and putting the soap away? Is that what you're saying here?
I gotta move him out of the bathroom because these coaches can't see the scheme to stop him. It's insane. You're gonna let this guy ball screen you to death, and you just stand there in your little sweatshirt and watch it for 35, 40 minutes. It's frustrating, but then again, I mean, at no point has anybody said we're gonna make Cam Johnson beat it. We're gonna make Bridges. We're gonna make Payne beat it. It's insane to sit there and watch Chris Paul dominate the game, but he is a great point guard, and I think the coaches have so much respect for him, they dare not double team him. And I don't think he'll see a double team in the finals either.
I gotta be,
I thought it was interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Esma.
I was just to say, I gotta be honest. Corey is doing the most impressive walk back, not walk back I've ever heard of a mea culpa here.
That's stepping in and out of the bathroom right there.
You know what? It's me recognizing two things. One, Chris Paul still had a lot more in the tank than I thought he did. But I also got to say, full strength Lakers, full strength up. I don't think we're seeing any Twix, but
it's kind of funny that he's breaking up right now again.
Yeah, this is when he's breaking up. Yeah.
You talked about karma, Corey. Every time you started to bring up that kind of BS, you started cutting out. So I don't know what happened. So, Corey, we appreciate your time. And we'll fix the audio next time. And we'd love to have you back on. Okay.
He's Corey
Williams
from ESPN. I swear that he's doing it on purpose every time he goes that direction.
No, what I wanted to say was the Lakers actually did focus on taking Chris Paul and Devin Booker out with their defense. They still had the number one defense in the league, even missing LeBron James and Anthony Davis for a third to a half of the season each. And they did a good job of taking those two out. And the Suns did beat them with other players, DA and the other guys. I mean, that's exactly what happened. The Suns know how to win in a lot of different ways. It's not just about Chris Paul scoring 40 to win a game.
Oh, the Clippers did it too. I mean, in game 3, Booker and Paul were basically shut down, and the Suns won it with defense. So, this team has figured all that out, and people are going to bag on it. I was glad Bobby actually looked at it from a national perspective and said, "Hey, none of this asterisk talk, none of this crap. You respect a team for getting to where they are and facing who they face."
Well, also that's completely ignoring the fact that Chris Paul gets hurt in game 1 of the first round against the Lakers. Okay, if the Lakers come mentally prepared and ready to go, and they don't miss half the damn season with LeBron and AD, maybe they are more of a well-oiled machine, and they win game 1, and maybe they go up 3-0 instead of going up 2-1. And they can afford to rest AD for maybe 2 or 3 games to get to a game 7. And now we're talking about a different story, but they didn't, because there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. And if my aunt had a mustache, she'd be my uncle. I don't give a shit. Sorry, that's just how it is. So we need to move on from that narrative, because every single year, like Bobby said, you could go right down the rosters and somebody had a key injury at some point in the season or the playoffs that affected X team. Look, it is what it is.
Hey, Saul, you were the one who picked the Suns over the Lakers, even when they were supposed to be healthy.
I said that's when I wanted to play the Lakers, because I felt like they didn't have the chemistry, and I felt like injury-wise, they were probably more prone to those kind of injuries anyway, and that's exactly what happened. I'm like Nostradamus, baby.
Your mustache comment isn't true. I'm Italian. I have plenty of aunts with mustaches. They are not my uncles. That's all I'm going to say. But look.
Are you sure?
Hey, now. Hey, do I need to transition to a Manscaped ad right now?
Now we're Manscaped.
We'll speaking of Manscaped,
look at that. The Lawnmower 4.0 in the background of Saul's shot today. If you are an aunt who actually is an uncle, or you're anybody that needs a fresh set of the boys downstairs, the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped is the best in the business. We highly recommend it. And we could talk about Clippers now, because the Suns have defeated the Los Angeles Clippers, so we will promote the Lawnmower 4.0 again on the show.
I will also say that it's not, I know it says Manscaped, but the ladies like it too. Like my lady likes to use it to kind of, freshen up the old, it's Personscape. There you go. Personscape.
It's Whoa Man or Manscaped. It does not matter. You can, whatever it takes, whatever gets the job done. And if you want to get the job done, head over to manscaped.com, use the code FlamingBallers for 20% off. And,
if you want to trim the bushes and not scorch the earth, this is what you use.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. By the way, I may have to use the Lawnmower 4.0 on this playoff.
Growing that fast,
old. This is the worst thing I've ever had on my face. Take that as you will. This is just.
Whoa.
I need a professional. I need a professional trimmer, and I think the Lawnmower 4.0 may be what takes care of this playoff beard once this whole run is over. But so if you want to save that scratch and not scratch your boys, head to manscaped.com, use the code FlamingBallers, get 20% off and free shipping. I want to bring up a new segment on the show today, because, why not jam everything we could possibly jam into one program like we are today? As the Suns are on their way to the finals, we're going to bring in a new segment that we are going to call Major Props here. It is brought to you by DraftKings and McGregor versus Poirier 3 is all set for UFC 264. Every punch, kick, and knockout means so much more with the DraftKings lineup on the line. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of UFC, is giving you a shot at huge cash prizes for this weekend's fight that's coming up next weekend. DraftKings is offering all customers a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy MMA is easy to play. It really is. I've actually done this. So just pick 6 fighters, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for advances, takedowns, and much more. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to compete for $1 million in total prizes. It's McGregor versus Poirier. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I think it is the rubber match. Get it in on the action now. Download the DraftKings app and use promo code DRYHEAT for your shot at millions of dollars in total prizes throughout the week. That's promo code DRYHEAT to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. So I said eligibility right this time, but
you did.
The premise of major props is a simple one, gentlemen. I'm going to give you a prop bet. You tell me what you'd take, where you would think you're going to make money. And we will actually use some of DraftKings prop bets, but today I've made up one for you guys as we head to the finals. In the finals, does Devin Booker miss more free throws than games he wears the mask? Dave, will start with you.
You know what? I'm going to go with miss more free throws. No, wait, sorry. I mean, he's not going to wear a mask at all in the finals. So I guess.
So you'd be picking he'll miss more free throws. Yeah, he'll miss more free throws than games he wears a mask.
Yes, I had it right. He'll have more missed free throws than games played with a mask. Yes.
Same. That's exactly where I would go to.
I'm going to say he has more games he wears the mask than free throws that he misses. Because even if he starts the series without the mask, the first time somebody touches that nose or comes close to it, he's going to put the mask back on based on doctor's orders. So that is my guess. We will do more of these. We're keeping it short because we've had too many people on the show probably for one show, 3 guests. So we want to actually talk some Suns basketball here and look at the finals. But that is Major Props, brought to you by DraftKings. Our friends over there use the code DRYHEAT when you play their daily fantasy games. We really think that you'll enjoy it. So, I actually think that one of our favorite segments on the show is going to happen today. I think we can stat Dave potentially here. You got one for us?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Stat me, Dave. No, I didn't say yet.
I don't want to hear that one.
Stat me, Dave.
Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds.
Give Dave 2 seconds, or give Saul 2 seconds.
Give me 2 seconds. That that's usually as long as it takes.
Look, when you have 14 guests, you think you'd have time to upload some things. Saul didn't have to talk much today, but that's fine.
But here we go. Here you go, Dave.
Ooh, Dave, stat me.
There you go.
All right. No team in NBA history has made the finals the way the Suns have made the finals this year. No team has gone 10 straight playoff-less seasons and made the finals in their first return to the playoffs. And no team has lost as many games as the Suns did in the 5 years prior to this season and made it to the finals. It's just incredible what is happening. But the Suns are the first ever to do what they're doing. So to say that other teams should follow their blueprint, sure, why not?
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, lose for 11 years and then get really, really lucky with a really talented team that you've put together. Yep, that's good luck copying that. That's not going to happen. Sacramento and the Lights. Too. Oh, hit us with it.
DeAndre Ayton leads the playoffs with field goal percentage, making over 70% of his shots, and his true shooting is over 70% as well. And he's giving up the lowest field goal percentage against on shots defended at 35%. Basically, he's making 2 shots for every shot he gives up.
Wow.
You know what I'm gonna say, and this might be controversial, but whatever. If DA continues to play the way he has been playing in these playoffs, right? Let's just take the Western Conference Finals for example. If that was the NBA Finals, there's a sneaky suspicion that they would have given the MVP to either Booker or Paul, and I would have been like, that's wrong, because DA was by far the most consistent through all 6 games for this Suns team than either one of those two. Granted, it wasn't Chris Paul's fault that he got COVID, but he still missed 2 games. You can't give him the MVP because of 1 game. Same thing with Devin Booker. He had 1 really, really good game and another okay game in game 5. He had 30 points, but we all acknowledge that, like, the decision-making and lack of team ball was an issue in that game, right? And then the other games, Pat Bev got in his head. He just did. And the mask and the nose and all this other stuff, all that combined affected Devin Booker for sure. Yeah. So, but DA, there was no issues in any of the games. He was still the same DA. Game 5 was probably his worst game, and he still had a double-double. So I think if DA does that in the NBA Finals, he should be the MVP of the NBA Finals. Will that happen? I doubt it. They'll probably want to give it to Devin Booker or Chris Paul, but that's just my 2 cents.
Reminder, if your stat me lasts for more than 4 hours, please consult a physician.
Hey, man, as Buck Dog pointed out, I can do back-to-back stat me's without a break. So
yeah, look at that. No, but I think one thing that's getting completely overlooked is the little nugget that Chris Paul dropped on all of us post-game after Game 6.
Yes.
That he has torn ligaments in his right hand.
In his shooting hand.
In his shooting hand that he found out that apparently occurred in Game 3. And he still went out and dropped 41. But that's not – I mean, that's extremely impressive. But what's even more impressive to me is no turnovers. Yeah. And this dude is rocking what is a seriously injured hand. Do you guys feel like, well, first off, how impressive do you find that now that we know that was the case in the Western Conference Finals? But how do you think that's going to impact him going into the finals as well?
I don't think it's going to impact him at all, and he showed that in the last game against the Clippers. I think he's gotten past that, right? It took him a couple games to get past that, but he's gotten past it. And if you noticed in that Game 3, he got hit on the hand. I thought it was like maybe he almost dislocated a finger or something like that, because he kept shaking his hand over and over again. Yeah. And then the next couple games, he was wearing tape on both of those fingers. Mm-hmm. And so I thought very much so that was maybe a dislocation or something to that effect. So apparently that tendon or whatever, the nerve, is got to be somewhere around those fingers. So the fact that he took that off and played in Game 6 and was still able to follow through. And if anybody out there, there's a lot of you out there that have played ball. If you have anything going on with these 2 digits right here, that makes it incredibly difficult to follow through and finish your shot. And the fact that he dropped 41 in Game
7 out of 8 threes.
Absolutely.
I mean, the longer
silly.
the shot, the harder it is too. Like, any issues with your digits on shooting is just incredible. The fact that Devin Booker decided no mask and CP decided no tape going into Game 6, you knew it was over for the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers, that was some advantages that the Clippers had against the Suns. Just like, look, looking back on it, LeBron James was a shell of himself in that first round series, even though he played all the games. Devin Booker and Chris Paul have been shells of themselves for different reasons. And, we give them, Chris Paul, how much crap did he take between Monday night and Wednesday from fans, from non-fans, from everybody, just saying, oh my God, this guy's gone. He's washed up. I thought he had post-COVID. I thought he had, fatigue from COVID. Yeah. Maybe he does even a little bit, but it was his hand that was holding him back. I mean, it's just crazy what he's survived in this series.
But also, I mean, I understand the hand, but to go back to your point, Dave, I don't think we're talking about the hand when we're talking about his performance in game 4 and 5, because it just looked like he didn't even have the energy to get to where he wanted to go. You know what I mean? Like, and I was concerned about that too. I was like, damn, did COVID take that much of a toll on my man? Like, is he really like struggling this much? Because he wasn't even trying to get to the basket, let alone, missing those little bunnies that he usually makes. So I completely agree with your mindset on that before game 6 for sure.
Yeah, look, no, I had COVID and it took me weeks to feel full energy again. And after I was testing negative.
And we know Dave is in that shape of a professional athlete. At 78, he
that
looks
has
that
nothing
great.
to do with the shape you're in. It's your lungs. Your lungs don't have. They are a muscle, but it's not the same kind of thing.
He couldn't go back-to-back stat meets at that time. That's the reason.
No, Chris Paul would have stopped at one stat meet. Also,
well, look. Obviously, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals happening tonight. We're recording this on Saturday morning. We may know who the Suns are facing, but who do you want to face? Bobby Marks said he doesn't think it matters. He's got Suns in 5 either way. Where do you guys land? Let's start with you, Saul.
I want to see the Bucks. But to be honest, I want to see the team that has their star healthiest first. So if it's Trae Young, then I want to see the Hawks. If it's Giannis, then I want to see the Bucks. But I want one of those two to be in the series. Because I just don't feel like it would be it would be fun for us, don't get me wrong, to hoist a championship. That'd be great, but you still want to see the stars, right? You still want to see the premier players in this league and see how you match up and play against them on the big stage. And we've had success against the Bucks, like with Giannis being 1,000% healthy. Like, we beat the Bucks in Milwaukee. If you guys remember Devin Booker getting fouled by PJ Tucker in the corner, so the Suns, for whatever reason, even in their 19-win season, they beat the Bucks twice.
We're able to beat the
Jamal
Bucks.
Crawford hitting that step back shot in Milwaukee, and then somehow pulling off the magic here in Phoenix. Like, for whatever reason, the Suns understand the Bucks, and I want to see I would like to see Giannis and the Bucks come. But if Trae is healthy and Giannis wouldn't be in game 1 or 2 of the finals, then I'd rather see the Hawks.
Guys, watch games when you're watching game 6 tonight. Remember this. I pointed this out to my fiance a few games ago, and when we noticed it every single time. The Bucks are a bunch of Darios out there. They kind of bumble around. They're not the smoothest athletes. Even look, Giannis is an incredible athlete, but he's a little bit of a bumbler out there when he drives into the basket. You watch Dario play. They're kind of Brooke Lopez is just a big Dario. I would love to play the fully healthy, top of their game Bucks in a finals, just because I still think the Suns will win in 5 or 6 because the Suns are that good this year. They're that good. If they play the Hawks, it would be a fun series to watch because especially with a healthy Trae Young. You got to have a healthy Trae Young. You got Bogey, who used to be a Suns draft pick, is now playing for them and doing well. Kevin Huerter is like a poor man's Devin Booker. Well, actually, he's a poor man's who's the guy in Miami who was a poor man's Devin Booker? Tyler
Hero.
So, yeah, you got Kevin Huerter, who's a poor man's Tyler Hero, who was a poor man's Devin Booker. You've got a lot of Clint Capella plays well against DA. That would be a fun series, but it wouldn't be as much of a challenge for the Suns. I want the best challenge, so I want the Suns to play the Bucks.
I'd be shocked if Trae Young doesn't play tonight.
He'll play for sure.
He'll play.
And then they're going to play Giannis if they have. I cannot believe Giannis is still okay. Did you guys see that? Yeah. Holy crap!
Have you ever hyperextended your leg?
Yes.
Not that far.
Yeah. I've done that. I've done it once, and it took about a week to come back. And then once you come back, it's like you're trying to tell yourself like it won't happen again, right? Yeah. You hope it will. And all I did at the time was just step to go back to the other side of the court, and I hyperextended my leg. I didn't come down like that. That's brutal.
Yeah,
how does he not have strains in his tendons though?
He probably does. He probably does. Well, that's why he's not back.
Yeah. So I look at it this way. Would you rather fight a deer or a hawk? And I would rather fight a deer. I'm less afraid of a deer than a hawk. A hawk has talons. They can swoop and hurt you. Look,
with a deer, all we got to do is turn on the headlights.
Look, deers are afraid of orange when you're hunting. I'm just kidding. Anyways, dumb hunting and animal reference. But look, I think Bobby Marks was right. The Hawks have the speed that could be problematic for the Suns. And I think that and the weird matchups the Suns have had against the Hawks over the last couple of years. I'm not sure that I really want to face them. I want to face the Bucks again. I think it's a better matchup, but I also think it'll be a better series, and I want to see some good basketball in this too. Yes, the end goal is the Suns to have the championship trophy, but I'd also like to enjoy some good basketball. And I just feel like a Bucks Suns series would be much more entertaining, much more. It would actually be the appropriate capstone for this Suns season.
Yeah, especially considering the coin flip.
Exactly.
Oh,
you get to exercise all demons.
How many years later?
1969 was the coin flip, but everybody says that's where the curse started. So if you beat the franchise that supposedly that started, you've exercised the demons, right? Now you can enjoy a championship and maybe multiple runs. So
the long game, yes.
Yeah, exactly. The long game. Hey, one more thing before we get out of here that I want to bring up. My younger brother actually sent this to me. He found a Twitter exchange it started with the Suns and then it became between Devin Booker and The Rock. And when you look at this first tweet here, Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns, it's a photo of Devin Booker on the sidelines. It was when he was injured in 2017. He missed a game. He was wearing a turtleneck and a chain, very much like The Rock's famous picture. And the Suns tweeted, Devin Booker with a turtleneck and a chain reminds us of someone who was equally electrifying. What do you think, The Rock? And The Rock actually responds to this saying, the only difference is I'm wearing cheap silver jewelry and a fake tag watch. My rookie days were lean. Devin's doing much better. So that's, and then it was a hand emoji that kind of call me. And then Devin Booker responds to this, just running by this. I can't keep up with you, bro. I have to try the fanny pack next. Also, can't wait to check out the new Jumanji. And so The Rock replies back yet again, make you a deal. When you hold up that Larry O'Brien trophy one day, I'll make sure you have a personalized fanny pack ready to throw on. Keep chasing that greatness, brother. So we're talking, that was 2017, right? And I don't think The Rock really expected it. But you know what, you jabroni? You better be ready with that custom fanny pack for Devin Booker when he hoists that Larry O'Brien trophy and 4 more wins. Your candy ass better have that done for Devin Booker because he's going to be a champion soon. You got that, brother? I want to see The Rock provide Devin Booker D-Book with that custom fanny pack. Can you smell what the fanny pack is cooking?
That was a mixture of The Rock and Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan always says brother.
Yep. I had to go with the 2 wrestlers I actually know and had to do that. We had to have a little fun with it. I want to see The Rock give Devin Booker an actual fanny pack in time for the championship parade if it happens.
Just hand it to him as the clock goes down. Exactly.
I want that so bad now because it is the most ridiculous part of what this championship run could be is The Rock paying up on a 4-year-old tweet to Devin Booker about a fanny pack. Like
I'm gonna have to ask Devin about that if I get a chance because there's a million questions.
Dave, what do you think about Jumanji?
What do I think?
It doesn't matter what you think about Jumanji.
Look, it just, to me, that would be hilarious to just have that happen. Like when Devin Booker comes out dressed like that too, like the original photo. This is what sports is about: is fun ridiculousness, and that's what I need. So I thought we could have a little fun. I haven't done Espo's big board in a while, so I thought I would do something ridiculous like that.
That was great.
Significant donation, by the way.
Yes, Coach Fallen Founder. Thank you for
Founder. Woo!
$105 donation to the show. We will probably be using that to pay off our Swears for Kids debt because we have gone over our budget with those post-game shows with these Swears for Kids. There we go, Dave. Dave just donated $105 to Swears for Kids. Thank you, Coach.
And King Mo, obviously, a little bit
promise
earlier.
I'll make the donation. Just give it to me.
And King Mo, we appreciate you for donating as well.
Yes.
And I agree. I think that that DeAndre Ayton would destroy Brooke Lopez in a pick and roll. So,
yeah.
Well, look at that. I think an hour and 10 minutes, 3 guests, some 2 promos, and me doing an impression of The Rock is probably enough for one episode of the Solar Panel.
That's right.
So we will wrap it up here. Any final thoughts, gentlemen? Dave, let's start with you.
Well, by the time we do this again, just the 3 of us, we'll be at least a game into the finals, if not 2, depending on I think if the Bucks win tonight, the finals would start Tuesday. If they lose tonight, then it would start Thursday.
Yes.
So I'm going to predict the Suns win the opening game of the finals, no matter who they play, because they're going to want to do a better showing for their home crowd after losing Game 5 in that last series. This is going to be a great finals to watch.
The Valley's been waiting for something like this for quite a while. I mean, was it 2015 since a Valley sports team has been in the conference championship? I think the Cardinals, and none of our local teams, at least with the major sports, football and basketball, have really done anything. And so, it's. Yeah, well, and I was also including college in that, and so it's refreshing to get this. I think everybody around the Valley and the state, for that matter, has been waiting for something like this, and it's pulled everybody together. I'm excited just to see the camaraderie around the Valley. I've seen signs everywhere, "Go Suns," and it's just it reminds me of '93 because I was an 8th grader in '93, and I remember just going around the Valley and seeing everybody like spray painting the cars and all this stuff, and it just warms my heart. And so it's going to be a fun ride, and I can't wait to see what happens. And man, if we are fortunate enough to have a parade, a championship parade, it's going to be lit
and hot. Because it'll be in the middle of July.
Yes.
Can we do it at night like they did at the airport? Can we just make it a 1 a.m. parade?
Even then, it's 95. It's not that much better. But, hey, look, I agree with you, Dave. I think Game 1 is going to be something that has not been felt in this town. I think it'll be seismic in the way that fans react. And I really hope they get the first 2 wins in the series for selfish reasons, because I will be sitting – one ticket, last row in the upper deck for Game 2. My younger brother, my wife, and a bunch of family members surprised me with 1 ticket to the game the other day. Since apparently it's a mortgage payment to be able to go see one of these games, they surprised me. So I'm excited to be out there for Game 2, and I can't wait to experience.
We'll have to
those
get
fans.
A picture together, the 3 of us, because aren't you going too, Saul? Are you doing?
I'm waiting to see if I got approved for credentials, but
awesome. I got my approval. I'm ready.
Yeah, tickets are hard to come by right now, so we'll see.
So look, it should be a fun ride. Suns fans, enjoy every second of this. Like, win, lose, draw. This will be fun. I hope there's not a tie. That would be god awful. But also, what wouldn't shock me after the last 18 months of the world, some kind of tie in an NBA Finals. But no, enjoy this ride. It is going to be fun. It has been fun so far. We will be here every step of the way with post-game shows. We're working on some big interviews for you as well. We're going to be doing shows. More shows than you've ever experienced over this series. We're going to be here for you. So let's get it. Let's say goodbye to Dave King. Not for good, just for this episode. Sorry, Dave's look on his face is
awkward transition there. It was an awkward transition there.
Dave, it's been fantastic. We are going to be replacing you with a former player for the rest of the run. No, just
cool.
Kidding, Dave. That was a misstep. He is the Silver Fox. You can find him at Dave King NBA. The NBA is there because he's covering real basketball for the first time in his life. He's going to be at an NBA Finals covering a game. So, Dave, enjoy game one. You can follow the Carmel Thunder from down under. It's at Saul_Bookman. The underscore is there because you need somewhere to put the damn Larry O'Brien trophy when it comes to Phoenix. And that's as good of a spot as any. And you can follow the show at Sun Solar Panel. You can follow me at Espo. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you soon here on the Solar Panel. Ahoy, hoy.
You know, when we channel our energy the right way, we can make big things happen like tonight.
Three-pointer. Pitch. Devin Booker on fire. Crowder looking, throws it. Alley-oop. Oh! He puts it down. He puts it down.
And I'm just so happy for all the people around me. You know what I mean? And to do it here in LA with the Clippers, that's my family too.
We didn't want to do a game 7. We want to do it here tonight.
Chris Paul is in the NBA Finals. What do you think when you hear that sentence?
Man, it sounds damn good.